a funny story, if you can think of one. There are many. It's just whether you can dig them up. Which one?
Oh, well, I had a bear guide one time. Maced the kids of the group that he was guiding. He didn't want to carry a gun, and so he carried pepper spray. And the kids on the way, so this was a trip where we fly them out to a salmon stream, they hike up, they watch the bears fishing, hike back, meet the plane, fly home. And on the way back from the trip, they're on their hike, the guide is packing his pepper spray, and the kid's like, well, how does that work if we run into a bear? So he pulls the pepper spray out of his holster and sprays it, but his hip is eye level for the kids, right? And he sprays it into the wind, and not realizing it, you know, it's just light wind, but it was enough to drift the whole mace spray right back onto the kids. and then he proceeds to take them to another spot to watch bears on a bridge, and in turning the van around, because it's an old logging road there, we have the van brought out on a barge to the site, and he proceeds to put the van in the ditch. When I showed up to pick him up, he's like, Michelle, I got some bad news. And I'm like, what? And he tells me, he says, well, the van's in the ditch, and it's miles up the road, right? So they had to hike back on the road, and now we have to go get it. And I was pretty mad at that point, but he said, but it gets worse. I'm like, how could it get worse? He says, well, I maced the kids. And the best part of it was the family. Okay, so the whole story is the family was supposed to go on a Misty Fjords tour. We were going to go out to Misty Fjords. The weather was terrible, so we came back to town, and I said, well, if you guys want to go see the bears, it's a different direction. The weather's better over there. So we pick up the bear guide, get some more gas, go out to the bears. Get halfway there, the guide forgot the key to the van. So we fly back to town, some more gas, get the key, get the family out. They go see the bears. They get maced. They get the van in the ditch. Hike back to the plane, and then fly home. And at Christmas time, we ended up getting this letter that was written by the kids about their 3-hour tour. And he wrote it in the same fashion as the Gilligan's Island theme song about their tour with Island Wings. So, on the way out, we go over Prince Wales Island, and we do some fish spotting, and about halfway back to Misty Fjords, one of the guys says he needs to use the bathroom. Now, you know, flying around here, there's lots of bathrooms, they're everywhere, right? So you just land and you go, right? So I'm like, okay, well, is this like, you have to land like, do you need to go like right now, or can it wait a little while, because we're like 40 minutes from our next stop, but I can land sooner than that if you need to go. He's like, no, I kind of need to go right now. And unbeknownst to me, this guy had a bowel syndrome. Right? So we land over in the Percy's, and I'm thinking he's got to pee this whole time, right? So I land, and there's islands around us. It's all protected, and it's all good. And I said, okay, well, you can just go out, stand on the pontoon, and we will look the other direction, and just, come back in when you're done. And he's like, where am I supposed to go? I'm like, there's a whole ocean out there, Anywhere you want to go. So then he's like, well, do you have any paper? And so now I'm getting like what's happening to him, and so I give him the roll of paper towels.
Sounds like you need more than that.
And so he does his thing, but when he gets back in the plane, it stinks pretty badly. So we're all like turning the air vents on, sticking your nose in the vent because the airplane's starting to stink, and it's like, oh, maybe he like missed and some of it's on his pants, or we don't really know what's going on. And I don't want to be rude or say anything, so I'm like staying over by the air vent, okay, I can make it there, I can make it to the next landing. We land, we get out, and the guys get out. Now I'm taking them on a fly-out fishing trip, right? So I get all the poles out and get them set up for fishing, and I'm thinking, okay, the plane's going to like air out now because the guy's out of it, right? And I go back in the plane, and it still stinks, and I'm like, wow. So I start looking around, and come to find out the guy had brought the used paper back in the plane with him and jammed it under the seat. So So this guy was from like Paris. No, he was from Toronto. That's right. He was a French Canadian, and yeah, a little bit of a language barrier.